Normally, the most drama coming out of Dallas is via the Dallas Cowboys, but my, oh my, the Dallas Mavericks might be taking the cake. This is Hoop Talks. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Hoop Talks. Justin Pooni joined with Noor Zainab and Jelani Goodridge-Reid. I'm sorry about the Cowboys.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. I'll give you that.
I had to throw it in there. But
Cowboys Nation.
We're talking about North Texas, your area. Yes. The Dallas Mavericks, guys. Back-to-back losses to the Charlotte Hornets. This is not Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning Charlotte Hornets. This is not LaMelo Ball's Charlotte Hornets. This is PJ Washington's Charlotte Hornets. Dennis Smith Jr. Revenge Tour. Look, guys, we all kind of saw the Mavericks put all their chips in the middle and acquire Kyrie Irving before the deadline. And we all thought it was going to be a match made in heaven. Kyrie, Luka, this dynamic duo. You know, they just come off a Western Conference Finals appearance. But it seems the fun has been taken out of Dallas, and especially for Luka Doncic.
I mean, yeah, it's really frustrating. I think you can see it with me on the court. Sometimes I don't feel it's me. I'm just being out there. I used to have really fun, smiling on court, but it's just been so frustrating for a lot of reasons, not just basketball.
I have never seen Luka Doncic that dejected before. Noor, he plays the game with such joy and such passion, and we don't see that anymore with him. How does he get that back? Where do the Mavericks go from here? Because they only have a few games left in the season to salvage it after all these expectations were placed on them.
Well, first of all, not all of us said it's going to be a good duo. A lot of us said it wasn't going to be a good duo because it made no sense when you were watching what they acquired. You have a guy like Luka Doncic, so let's get another guy like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, two guys that need to hold the ball constantly. And you've got Christian Wood that helps you in the paint, but all your other role players aren't exactly guys that you can rely on constantly. Let's get Dwight Powell, Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber. Like, those aren't guys that are going to give you 25, 30, even if the pressure is off of guys like the pressure is on guys like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. I think in that moment, you as a role player should be shining brighter than any other role player on the other teams because you have two guys that demand so much attention. So it just shows that it's not about bringing the star-studded players onto your roster. It's about making the roster work. It's about getting teams where people understand their individual roles. And right now, this team is, they're worse than they were last year. So what does that tell you?
Jelani, though, when you add a superstar piece like Kyrie mid-season, there's no training camp, you don't have that much practice time. Is that a factor as well, or is this just duo was not doomed from the start?
What do I say all the time? Every time we come on a basketball show with Noor and Justin, I say this. You cannot just put superstar guys together and expect a ring. It doesn't work that way, okay? And especially mid-season, right? You're going to need that time. That's why I have questions with the Suns. You know, KD, right, being hurt, that hurts them, of course. So, yes, Kyrie is such a talented guy. We understand what he can do, right, and what he's capable of doing. He'll give you 30-plus whenever he wants to, right? He'll make you look silly. We know that. And Luka is a baller. We know that already. But aside from those two, right, it's a team sport. Like Noor said, it's a team sport. So you're going to need your other guys to step up. Also, the front office in this deal, they lost a lot of depth, right? And Brooklyn, you know, they got some guys that Dallas could really use right now.
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yes, and I think that was their best wing defender, right? Yep. And I think right now with Dallas, right, you look at the lack of depth that there is. Also, there's no defense is absent in Dallas. I don't know what it is. They don't know that there's.
They don't have the Cowboys defense.
They don't have Michael Parsons. So I think if you're looking at the fact that they're 27th in defensive rebounding, that shows me that you're giving other teams a lot of opportunities and things of that nature. No paint presence. Also, blocks and steals, they're in the basement in that. So that shows me there's no effort on that end. Now, Jason Kidd. Hot seat? I think so. Because if this continues to go down this road, right? I know what they did last year, right? But the expectations are there. Mark Cuban wanted to try this out, see how it works. It hasn't worked. I don't know.
But here's my pushback on all of that. Look, when you acquired Kyrie Irving, right? Yeah, it's for also this year, but it's also with the expectation that you're going to have him for a couple more years. Because look, the Lakers are out on it. They're not going to sign him, right? No. Kyrie's in a position where he's going to have to probably – Dallas is going to give him – I don't know. I don't think so. But look, the way I see this working out is, look, if they can get into the playoffs or the play-in, they're a dangerous team because they have two guys. Look, Luka's averaging, 33 points a game, right? Kyrie's averaging 27. They're, as LeBron James once said about the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're top-heavy as shit, right? They have, as you guys mentioned, they have no depth. What I think the Mavericks can do is, look, this year, the Western Conference is such a weird predicament. Everybody's so close, as you can see on the standings, right? And it's anybody's game. But going into next year, right? Kyrie's options are going to be pretty limited, I still feel like, right? They have to really build out the depth on their roster, right, this offseason and surround it around Luka. But I want to ask you guys this. Can you guys see Luka requesting out of Dallas if this season goes south?
I think, look, the Dallas Mavericks need to make sure and ensure that his time in Dallas is happy, is great, is all, sunshine and roses, because you don't want him upset, right? You don't want to lose a talent like this. So if this continues, if we see, a road, right, where they don't surround him with talent, where Jason Kidd, again, where the coaching isn't there, right, and they get bounced year after year after year, let's say they don't make another run like they did last year, right? Then yeah, you might see, because it's a new NBA. When guys are frustrated, they request out. Doesn't matter how good they are, or it doesn't matter the contract.
Yeah. Maybe not even this year, but the year after that. I wouldn't even chalk the blame up to just Jason Kidd. I think the eye should be on Mark Cuban, because what has he given this team? How have you structured the roster? You let Jalen Brunson go, and now let's look at how he's going off in New York. So, and getting a guy like Kyrie Irving, that's a pretty, it's the move to show your star in Luka that, hey, I'm serious about you. I want to pair you with the right talent, everything. But this move clearly is just not going to work out in terms of the on-court production. On paper, it looks great because you have two stars, but on-court, nothing's going to amount to it. So at some point, I think either they're going to have to revamp the roster entirely to Luka's liking and have him take lead in that, or Luka just heads over somewhere else.
They tried the Porzingis thing, they tried Luka carrying everybody thing last year. Now they bring Kyrie in. Call me crazy, but I think this has the potential to still work, right? It's still, they haven't played a whole bunch together yet.
That's
right?
true.
I think just give it time. Whether it's this year or next year, watch. Once they get some depth pieces next year and they have a whole offseason together, I think Luka and Kyrie can work very well. But one thing is for certain, two things are for show. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be filled with a whole bunch of questions for the remainder of the NBA season and the offseason until they get their second title in franchise history and Luka Doncic can finally cement himself as one of the greatest in NBA history. This has been Hoop Talks.